Good evening, everyone, and welcome to race 9 of 8 in the Masters SA Winter 2021 series. And welcome to Aaron Burrell and Sean Peters.
To Cobus for pressing all the right buttons. It is round number 9. It is Masters SA Series. We're in for some action and the Two Bridges Loop. Aaron, run us through it very quickly. How's it, man?
Hey, Cobus. Hey, Sean. Good to see you again. Guys, we're in for a cracking race tonight. This particular course has a little bit of everything, so it's going to suit the all-round riders. And as I alluded to before we went live, the clever riders, those who are economical and frugal with their efforts. So this is the Two Bridges Loop. It's one of a couple of worlds that were launched in December 2020. And it's a great one because it offers riders a short, high-intensity workout, darting around the outskirts of downtown Watopia and the famous foothills. 36 Ks, 403 meters of climbing over 5 laps. Doesn't sound particularly tough, but there are some areas that guys need to look out for. I've spoken about it ad nauseum in previous editions, so hopefully they've used that knowledge and they can apply it tonight. But essentially, the riders are going to leave the starting pens in downtown Watopia. There's a little ramp, as they all know. It goes to a T-junction. You can either go left or right. The guys are going to turn left and then they head into the S's. Wouldn't say it's a tricky area, but there's a lot of undulations and rollers in there. You can use the super tuck-in parts, and it's going to be great for the sprinters to get into a really good position, because as soon as they leave the S's, they're straight in for the sprint. And we're going to see some of the big guys come out tonight, hoping Voldu, Benny Fuljoen, Tian, some of the big guys crack out some good numbers tonight. I see Rudy Kellerman's also in the bunch, so that's going to be exciting. From there, they're going to head into the Italian villas, which is going to sort of pop them out into another section of rollers, which goes into the 360 bridge. The 360 bridge can serve as a precursor to what's coming, which is the only real bump of the course. It's the initial slopes of the reverse com. They'll go up for about a quarter and a bit, and they'll slide to the left, which will take them, which will bypass them on the two sections of the climb. A little bit of a descent back into downtown Watopia, and they'll in for that for another 4 times. So 5 laps, exciting racing. Hoping we going to see some new names come to the force tonight, guys.
Certainly is a different course to that end.
Yeah. I was just going to say it, Cobus, and back to you, and very quickly, it's going to be over fairly quick. We spoke just before we went live. Working on about 45 minutes. So this is going to be a quick sprint race.
Yeah, I like to call it a criterium type race. We used to enjoy that volcano loop quite a bit. Put off by the fact that it doesn't have any recognized hotspots or even primes, to be honest, on via Zwift Power, which we used to use during the Tassel days as sort of a little, first guy through the banner after the first lap is going to get a 100 Rand prize or something. That was a bit of fun. But this route, quite similar, I think, to that one. And that one, the last time we did it, I think Gary Miller won it, in fact. So it'll be interesting to see who features here today.
Yeah, certainly. Just a quick one to anyone that has joined the live stream. Good evening to you. It is a Wednesday evening down here in Cape Town. A nice chilly afternoon. I'm sure it has been like that out in Stellies as well. But Aaron Burrell all the way from London saying it's still a scorcher out there, still lots of sunset all the way through to 9 o'clock. How's it to all the guys on the chat group? Morne van Bosch, I must just give you a big shout out very quickly. Always such a superb gentleman, always giving us a compliment afterwards. So how's it back to you? I think, Cobus, you might just need to help me. Morne, I think, is based in Johannesburg, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I think so, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, how's it going?
He's based in Watopia, as far as I'm concerned.
Tonight he is definitely. So great to see all the regular top guns. We've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go to the start. Aaron, anything that stands out for you in terms of riders this evening. Who's this going to suit? And I'm putting you on the spot here, but
come on, man.
Look, I'm not asking for exact names. I think we're more sort of just while we've got viewers just looking in, and maybe they're first-time viewers. What is this track? Who does it suit? What type of rider, maybe?
I'm going to say that it's probably going to come down to a very exciting bunch sprint. So we're looking at, I'd say, 10 to 15 riders at most, depending on what happens on that fifth and final lap. But for me, I'm very excited to see what the sprinters do tonight, because, we often just chat about the all-rounders and the guys that can, make a mockery of gravity, etc. I'd like to see what the big guys do, and, hopefully they can lay down some serious watts tonight. And I think it's time we kind of gave back to them and gave them a little bit of coverage. So I'd like to see what the Vomit Comet can do. That's a classic name, Sean. Volder's been doing really, really well along with Tiens on a bike in the sprint competition, and hopefully they can time their sprints to perfection tonight. And that means coming from the back. It's not first across the line; it's the fastest time.
Yeah, I was just going to mention quite a few sprints in this race, and we know Volder can shine there. A guy like Tiens. And sorry, folks, so we've got 50 seconds to the start of this race. Let's get seated. If you are spectating. Grab a beer. I see a couple of us are already indulging now that it's all open again in this country. Let's get a cold one out. Let's enjoy the start of another fantastic race. This is race number 9. We're about to get under starters orders, and watch out, that first sprint comes up at 2.7 Ks into a very quick start out shoot. Aaron, I'm just going to count them in, and then we can go back to what you were mentioning. There's one or two other questions we're going to run through, but let's get our viewers excited. This is the start. There we go. Under 10 seconds on the clock. Here we go. It's in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off they go. You'll see the avatars start picking up the pace now. There they go. Right. We're going to go back to you very quickly.
Usually surge out quite nicely. You'll see a couple of orange numbers at the start. It's going to settle, but this particular section, it's a very, very short lead in. They're going to hit the tar within 50 meters, go through that arch over there, and then they're going to lead out into a little bit of a climb. It's going to be a bit of a jostle for position getting into the S's, because it's a nasty section of the course. And on lap 3, 4, and 5, the legs are going to be fried, and it's going to get harder and harder as the race plays out.
Nice to see Tim Hook there, by the way. Again, we've been mentioning week on week, a young gentleman from the Franschhoek Valley, a winemaker out there. Just caught a very quick glimpse of his name. Good to see him out here. I wonder if we see any surprises from Tim. We know that he can really put some power down. But let's see what happens in this first It's going to happen, the first sprint. It's going to happen very quickly, in just under 2 kilometers from where we are now.
Yeah, it's going to rush up on them. And also for those guys, the guys are going to be competing the sprint, and those that aren't, because as I've mentioned before, miss out on the sprint and you're going to find yourself in a very tricky position, because it's going to string out quite significantly, and you don't want to find yourself having to work extra hard to stay in contact and get with the guys, get back into the bunch. But they're going to be leading into the S's now, slight little drop down, and then it's just going to up and down, left and right. Not a great section of road to be honest. But yeah, we're gonna start seeing some separations from now already.
See Rick Sorensen in the mix there, as per every other week, every other Wednesday. Good to have him on board all the way from the States. All the regular SA flags being flown high above their heads. Donovan Lecoq, one of my favorites from Top Watch, a great rider from the southern suburbs, a great motorcyclist, superbike champ. He's in the mix. Should we make a quick call? 2.7 Ks is coming up very quick. Who's going to take that sprint? Let's go with Kobus. Let's put the man with the controls in his hands under pressure.
I'm already focusing on my favorite. He's
right, give us that name.
Tiens Knobak.
There we go.
I'm going to back Kobus. I'm going to go with Tiens on this one.
Okay, so I've got two down for Tiens. I'm going to go and break the bank and say the Vomit Comet Volder Zevenstein.
He listens. We'll see.
You
So,
can there
We'll see
right
if he
now.
takes you up.
Tien's on the back there. Very clever riding. He knows that he can use the draft and move through the bunch, picking up speed, using them one by one to his advantage. And if he stays there, we're going to see great success.
Well, here it comes now. We're at 2.3 Ks in. We've got.
See the bridge in the background there. They're going to drop down, and you can see the bridge there.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
They're going to turn left, and we're going to see some orange numbers light up on the right. Here we go, guys.
Yeah. So, folks that are perhaps new to the stream, just look down on your right-hand side. You'll see those little orange numbers that start appearing, as Aaron alluded to. There we go.
Tien's is putting it down. Look at him go.
14, 15 watts a kilogram. Donovan's decided to give it a go. Mateyson as well. Monstrous. He used a feather power up there. No data yet. Can't see who got that one. But Tien's did smash that. I think it was 10 seconds.
I'm pretty sure he did.
I was going to put 100 Rand on that. Lucky I didn't.
Well, given... wow, okay. We just don't have it. I see on my list here. It's funny. I'll get it on the next list. I'll be able to see it.
I think the guys just hammered it up there too hard. I think they broke the electronics.
But Tien's moved up the field so much there. That was brilliant, coming from the back like that. Just behind the lead bunch.
990 watts get dished out there at one point.
Well, he's what, 62 kilograms?
That's a lot of power. It's a lot of power for a small man. And he can dish that out at regular intervals, which makes him such a versatile rider. We've got some names there for the sprint.
Oh, there we go. Just came up. I just hope there's no error this time, because last week...
And they're dropping out again.
Yeah, and then they disappear, just like that. Sorry, guys. It's out of my control.
Yeah, showing up leaderboards from all over the show. There's Repack Ridge, Alpe de Zwift is showing up now, so it's a little strange. Let's hope it sorts itself out.
I don't know if you saw, but earlier today, Zwift rolled back a bunch of their updates. Amongst them, the augmented pack dynamics.
That's an interesting chat.
I haven't even had a chance to look at it in detail, to be honest. But I guess it's always a fiddle. It's always add a little, see if it works, test it, roll back if you have to. There's a lot of development going on in the background. Just part of what the guys do. Okay, while we have a lull, I'm going to go check into one of the leading ladies that see how far back they are. Okay, so this is Ina Medjlich and she's with Bet. So they are number 1 and 2 amongst the ladies respectively, marking each other, staying together. That's some good racing.
Yeah. Good to be back on board with the ladies. We had a good field last year, and we're hoping for a much better field this year. We didn't quite get there.
No, not consistently at least. It's not bad. Look, we've got to start somewhere. At least.
Yeah.
I see the overall numbers are up again this week. We're up to 195, so I'm guessing the weather isn't so great up there in Europe, Aaron.
On the British Isles, it's not too bad. I mean, there's a little bit of drizzle earlier today, but mainland Europe, there's flooding and all sorts of things going on, which according to them is unusual. But regardless of the weather, everything's unusual here. So it's hard to take that as factual.
Yeah. I think anything in the world at the moment is a little bit unusual. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So we're onto the first climb. Quite a nasty little bump, but this is going to string it out quite significantly and separates, I'd say, the front runners from those that are going to just be hanging on. There's going to be a lot of this. There's five attempts at this. It's going to be hard because the guys in the front are going to be pushing it, as hard as they can to reduce the bunch. And you can really see the usuals up there trying to string that out and get that going. Eddie Hall and Jorge Mourinho are trying to do that at present. But it looks like they've been reabsorbed again. There's a nice long descent coming up.
So I already see a super tuck with 2 there.
Yeah, very, very important that that is used by the riders. Pedaling is not going to give you or the bunch any benefit at all.
So rest up the legs quite early on before you get to the next sprint.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that after this descent, they're going to pretty much head straight back into downtown Watopia, and on the 5th and final lap, that is going to signify the sprint for the line. So they can use these initial laps as a means of getting familiar with that, looking at a couple of reference points where they think the sprint is going to go, working on their positions, and just trying out various things.
Got a glimpse of Equina there, literally rolled over him just for a second.
Yeah, he's got some support this week. He's got a chap also from Argentina helping him called Ariel Savori.
In the same team.
Yeah, just saw that name pop up.
You know, this is one of those courses that can provide the platform to do a classic 1-2 maneuver, a double team. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that from those 2 South American riders. They're crafty in a good way. But yeah, it's just going to animate the racing and just make it a little bit more exciting. But I'm still back in the bunch sprint at the end.
Sure.
I hope so. Nothing different. I enjoyed our small bench sprint last week, even if it was only between 6 riders. If we could get 15 riders this week, that would be awesome. Okay, so you're saying that they are in the same team. They're not just from the same region, Aaron?
Yeah, they're from the same team, both South Americans, neighboring countries.
Yeah, but that's exactly why they shouldn't be mates. You know? all of my knowledge of South America comes from stereotyping, and I know nobody likes the Argentines, you know, because they're vain. Allegedly. Get in trouble.
Strung out again, yeah.
Who's this Canadian fellow, BB? Do we know him?
We do know who he is. I actually was made privy to his identity earlier today. He used to be ranked number 1 on Zwift, and he is Brett Boniface. I'm sure you remember him, Quibus.
Oh my word! Okay,
you've heard of that name?
Yeah, Brett used to be one of the best Zwifters in the world. There was a couple of issues with his power source, etc. I'm not going to go into that, but he has made a return and is here to race again. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does some damage on the front purposely just to break things up. And we can already see there's a couple of guys going off here.
It's him, David Bailey, and another Spanish rider I'm not familiar with.
Are they going to get reeled in though? There's a massive bunch coming from behind.
Yeah, they've been caught. On board with
They should be coming up for that. That next sprint is coming through now as well.
Oh wow, you're right. So we're just going to go over that little bump, descent, and then we back on the sprint. Our sprint is still with us. We did have a bit of a selection, but this group is still quite big.
Yeah, it looks like we got about 12 in this group, maybe a little more. The time updates are slightly delayed, so it's hard to tell. We might have about 25 guys in here.
No, because we were with the guy at the back, and he's number 36. So I'm thinking we've got about 36 guys in here.
We've got a monster sprinter in here as well. We got Hull Davies. Remember last week I told you that he changed his name to Towel, just so the commentators would get his name right. He's racing as well. So it's great to have or attracting these sort of Zwift celebrities, if you want to call them, into the field. So there's a lot of firepower on offer tonight.
Here we go in the sprint.
Yeah.
Oh, quickly, guys.
Well, we're on board with
competition, yeah. It looks like the guys are just rolling over. They don't want the sprint. This is the winning bunch, if you want to call it. So they're not going to spend any unnecessary energy, but we've already got, I think these guys have a pretty substantial gap now. It's up to 16 seconds on the chasing pack.
Nice big bunch of them as well.
Yeah, and it's just going to keep increasing, especially when they hit that reverse com climb and then the descent again. If you can push the initial slopes of that climb, you can usually use the statue. There's two cycling statues as you start that climb. If you can use the wheel-to-wheel technique, as we like to call it, the first wheel of the one statue to the last wheel of another, you can just dig there. That's the section where it gets at its steepest. If you can dig from wheel to wheel, that's most of the hard work done. And then if you can keep the pace going through into the bypass and onto the descent, you're going to keep that gap. And looking at this bunch now, the 35, 36 guys, the snowball effect on that descent is going to open up that gap massively.
Definitely. Well, I guess despite the guys seemingly not hammering that climb, we saw Benny Fulham being caught out and just dropping out the back right at number 37 as they went a bit harder through that sprint. So it is still risky even at the front of the group. Guys seem to up the tempo. They can't help themselves. They see that green banner even if they're not hammering it all out.
Looks like we've still got Malcolm Isaacs, Michael Potton in this group as well, which is good. Tim Hook. So we got the regular mountain bikers in here. We got Michael Rowland as well, Murray Craig. So it's a sizable group with massive firepower.
Yeah, and all within the in the points, all within the top 15 of our overall standings. So great to have them all up there at the moment. Just looking back at the ladies, Kobus, just interesting to note, we were chatting about the top three ladies, but Talita Botha is in there, Laurel Doman is in there, Medea Potgieter, Hildegard Grenier, Colleen Lowe. Great to see all those names out there. Karen van Niekerk, Sheila Burrow, Anita Gerhardt. It's good to just go through those names that are in that list in contention at the moment. So well done, ladies.
And the two real contestants are the two we have on screen here. So that's Ina Medi and Bets Kuchlenberg. I think Ina's going to be on bets like whites on rice this evening. If my understanding, I had a cursory look. I'm no longer doing the scoring, but I believe it's a winner take all situation this evening. And as long as Ina comes in first or second, she should take this because she dropped her race previously. So if Bets can ride her off properly, maybe there's some scope for her to take the overall lead. But I think Ina, because she's going to drop that one race, is gonna that one race which she didn't finish or had a dropout. Is going to jump into the lead. So the virtual leader on the road, Ina, I guess, but the pink jersey at the moment, Bets.
Sure. So you're going to turn out to be an interesting race this at the end of it.
Definitely.
Then in our men's, it's Eddie Hull, Christian Jan van Rensburg, and Peter Avenant, David Garrett, and Murray Crabb, all in the top 5 results at the moment. So well done to those lads. Always keeping it consistent, and that's, I suppose, what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can score every week, you'll do pretty well. If you can win every week, you'll do even better. But scoring helps. Let's see. Oscar Kluter, Malcolm Isaacs, Kavanagh. Mark Kavanagh is here.
Malcolm Isaacs, Mr. Milkman, how is it going? If he is watching the feed, how's it, young man? Good to see you on board with us.
Yeah, he's doing really well at the moment. He's in the men's selection, or the leading men at the moment, along with a couple of other sort of talented Cape Town-based mountain bikers. Also the likes of Murray Crabb, who we keep mentioning week in, week out, Donovan Lecoq, David Garrett as well. And then a rider who's really been sort of putting his neck out there, racing key races, trying to improve his ranking. Jacques Krief from Dirt doing really, really well. That name keeps popping up. And putting in those efforts, picking the right races is only going to improve your ranking and your experience as a rider. And he's one of the guys that has shown massive improvement from the start of the series.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Always good to have those guys that just keep popping their neck out and getting those results and just racking up those points. Michael Potton also just looking all the way down in 15th overall. Great rider. Such a gentleman as well. Good to see him out here. I haven't seen him at the moment. Been trying to look out for him. But also great. Aaron, you'd remember him from back in the days of a couple of mountain bike races that I'd commentate. I'd always have you guys in the mix, and it was always great seeing you lads out there.
Michael's a monster. That guy, he knows how to suffer. That's what makes him such a threat. You can never write Michael off, and from the start to the finish, it's the same pace. Really, really talented, gifted on the technical sections, and an amazing climber as well. So Michael's made a great transition from mountain biking and real world racing to Zwift. There's a bit of a shock to the system when you do it initially, and we saw a bit of that adaptation happening. But now he's mixing it up with the guys now, and I'm sure he's got that feel for it. Yeah,
no, it is like you said. It is a massive transition to make, not an easy transition. We saw that at Helderberg Cycle World a couple of weeks ago when we had some invitational riders getting on for the first time. Well, not on the first time, but the first time in a race scenario, and just beating through the eyeballs. It's tricky. You got to work hard. There's no free miles, and it is massively different from if you've just joined us, you're new to watching these live streams. Let me tell you, baptism of fire. I've spent 3 weeks on one of these elite trainers, a magnificent piece of machinery. But let me tell you, you got to work every second of that ride. And I'm telling you now, Aaron and Kobus can agree with me. It looks easy because it looks like a game until you're actually doing it yourself. There's no free miles in it.
We had they're talented young guys that rode with us at that event, and they would typically destroy anyone in the room, right? But they were eating humble pie in the first 5 minutes. It was unbelievable. Just unaccustomed to it, never ridden before. Mind you, all of you old goats were very upset by them riding and wanted to ensure that it was a once-off thing. Don't worry, this is still Masters racing.
Yeah.
They're all worried that those guys are going to sharpen their pens and come back and dominate the series. None of that.
It's called Masters, not juniors, guys. So.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not called junior or elites or under 23s. It's called Masters, gentlemen. So,
guys,
rest assured, you're on your own.
When we switched to the ladies now, we missed quite a large section of the guys' race, which was obviously leading up onto the climb and the descent. And from what I can see and understand is that Tim Hook lost contact on the descent. He's now 24 seconds back, and the bunch has reduced to 33 riders, with Jacques Krief bringing up the rear at present. So that's a sizable bunch. I don't think we've had this many riders together at this point in a race. And it looks like we're gonna keep most of these guys together. Obviously, the attritional nature of the course means that we might shed a further 5 to 10 guys, but having a sprint group of around 10 to 15 is just going to make it all the more exciting.
Yeah.
Just for the end commentary, really gives us something to do.
And as you said, it is the first time in 9 races that we've seen this many guys up front at this stage of the race.
Guys, I have to mention, number 1 in the sprint section at the moment, quickest time of the day, Johan de Vet, who is he's the chairman of Cape Multisport Club. So well done, Johan. If you're watching,
keeping the flag flying high, Johan. Well done,
guys. We'll be punting sponsors here. Aaron, Mr. Chief Technical Editor.
Yes.
Do you see that elite riser that came out earlier in the week?
Yes.
How cool is that piece of kit?
Very, very nice. I think most of the elite fans and disciples the world over, they've been waiting for something like that.
Yeah.
Wahoo were obviously first to the party with that type of technology. But usually when one brand is creating something like that, the other brand already has it in the pipeline. And Elite has been working on that for a long time. It's called the Riser. It doesn't work just with elite trainers, which is, I think, the unique selling point. It can work with riders who are using the Wahoo Attacks or Saris as their power source. So that allows the bike to sort of rise as you climb and descend when you're on the downhills, and then also has a dynamic steering functionality, meaning that if the race does have steering enabled, you can move your handlebars to negotiate various obstacles or riders that are in your way. Very, very cool piece of kit.
So it's got a Sturzo built in for driving.
Yes, built in.
It's fantastic. I mean, I love the way they solve the, I guess as your front wheel rises, the distance at floor level shortens. So they've actually put it on incredibly firm rails, and the thing sort of moves with you. It's a great solution. Looks fantastic, and very, very sturdy as well. So that's cool. I look forward to trying one of those. And also nice that it's compatible with all trainers, assuming chainstays don't get in the way, and not locked into a single ecosystem like their competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Elite. And talking about them, while we're on that subject, one of these guys that are racing here tonight will be the owner of one of those in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, true. So next week, as we get onto this climb, so okay, let's just focus on this for a moment.
Ouch! This is a pivotal part in the race, almost coming into the halfway point. Legs are going to be pinging at this point, but trying to get into a great position. Leading into this approach, staying in the front is going to be pivotal in deciding who makes this selection over the top, because guys are going to start stringing out. You can see the power-ups being used already. You got aero power-ups, you got feathers. Guys are trying their best not to get dropped. So if they can use that statue sort of reference point technique, it will help them dig a little bit deeper, give them an idea of how long they need to suffer before they turn left. As you can see, there's a statue coming up now. That's the last part of the wheel. And once you crest that, it's pretty much all over. All the pain is over. And yeah, a lot of power-ups being used now. This is getting into an exciting point in the race.
And on board with the Southern Suburbs boy, Donovan Lecoq at the moment from Team Top Watch. As there they go. They made that left-hand turn now, as Aaron was mentioning.
But you can see how it's strung out, Sean. Look at that. If the guys on the front keep the pace going, you can see Christian has worked his way through to the front. If he can just sort of hit the power quite hard now as they're leading to this initial rollers before the descent, it's gonna cause a massive negative effect for the guys at the back, and especially if they are leading into that really, really steep downhill. It's going to cause some guys falling off the back. We saw that Tim Hook fell out on the last lap, and if you're unaware, it's probably gonna happen to you. So use the super tuck, get off the power when you can, and just use the benefit of the group.
And that group, just talking about them, look at that. That's definitely one of the biggest packs we've seen.
That's massive
so far, and I don't know if it's going to whittle down any further than that.
It didn't whittle down at all on that last little climb. They're all stuck.
They stuck together, yeah. Very interesting.
It's down to 33, and there's a chasing group coming from behind. Tim Hook, MC Dreyer, Benny Fillion, Rudy Kellerman is in that chasing group. They did go below 1 minute at one point, but the nature of having so many guys in that descending blob effect means they're traveling faster. They're traveling faster than 4 or 5 guys. So that's why it's opened up. But that doesn't mean they must take their foot off the gas. They can keep sort of nailing on the power, because we don't know what these guys are going to do on the 4th or 5th lap. There's a tendency for it to slow down as they size each other up for the sprint. So, it's easy just thinking, I'm going to give up now. It's never over. we've seen before.
And out of experience, Aaron, the likelihood of them getting onto that first group again?
It depends what these guys do on this lap, Sean. This is going to be a deciding lap. What we've seen in the past is that the fourth lap is usually the slowest on this particular course. I raced this one 3-4 weeks ago on the Danish Bike Riders race. Also, really, really tough one just with the guys that had shown up. But the fourth lap was a lot slower, speed and watts. So if they keep that power on, the likelihood of them closing the gap, it's still quite slim. But you never know. I mean, we're racing for places here. This is the final race. You never know what happens on the frontier. Some guys could fall back, meaning that some other riders are in contention in the group from behind. So when it's this close, when the racing is this close, I don't think it's wise to give up.
Well, we saw last week the chasing group actually get back on, didn't we?
Yeah.
It just imploded immediately as the pace upped again. But it's just the nature of having to work so hard.
It seems to be stringing slightly out now at the moment as we're talking about them.
Somebody's being caught out here. Come on, Donovan.
Yeah. Every time there's an incline, the guys are going to absolutely smash it. And obviously you can get, concentration level sort of dip. You can get caught out. Yeah. Someone like Donovan has the power to get back on, and that's exactly what he's done now. No problems for Donny.
No, he's moving up, in fact. Doesn't want it to happen again.
No. Just on 13K still left of this race, folks. The call that was made from Aaron before we even went live was 45 minutes and it would be over. And I think we're going to be bang on the button this evening with that time. And let's do the commercial break very quickly while they are where they are. Again, thanks to Elite and Anthony at N Squared. An amazing prize again. That one that went out last year, I still remember that face of the guy that won. And someone in this pack here could potentially win that very cool Elite trainer right there on your screen at the moment. Super, super cool. What a prize. I mean, I've spent 3 weeks on this thing. It's incredible. In fact, the Sweeto is actually slightly, I wouldn't say better, but it is definitely, if you've got space restraints at home, that's the one that you want to look at. It folds away.
Or travel with it. It's very convenient to travel with as well.
Very I know that, Kobus, you traveled with it about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
I always do.
And it's just so easy to travel with. So guys, look out for that. That's next week, Kobus.
Yes. So next week we're going to do a live event. The series will keep, or the Masters SA races will keep going. That one will not be part of any particular local competition, at least. It'll be part of a new international competition. And because it's a bit more friendly and less competitive, it'll give us the environment. We'll try and chat to some of our lead riders, dial them in via Zoom, and the three of us can give these guys a grilling while they're riding. And then we'll also we'll chat to the sponsors and do the live draw for the trainer for the grand prize as well. Very cool. Looking forward to that one. So next week, this time, folks, don't be late. We start up at 6:15 local time, South African time. Aaron, what's it there? It's quarter past 5. 5. There we go. So if you're based in the UK, then that's your time that you want to jump on board to watch someone take a very, very cool prize home with him. Talking about very cool things, Powerbar right below that Elite name. You'll see Aaron's always got that very cool peak cap Powerbar. Thank you very much for your amazing support, Trevor. Local here in Cape Town, looking after all our riders and looking after some very, very cool stuff. Kobus, if you just want to take us through onto those discount codes. Yes. Okay. Let's put on Powerball. So if you guys want to support us by supporting our sponsors, go into powerbarsa.co.za and use the discount code RDX Cycling at checkout. Where Trevor will know it's the fans from this live stream that are supporting us. I actually ordered some stuff myself last night. using the same code. Well, not last night, on Wednesday night, and it arrived this morning already, which is quite impressive. So that was essentially a single business day for delivery out in Stellenbosch. So that's RDX Cycling. We'd appreciate the support. Great product. We love it. We all use it. Just does the business.
Yeah, talking about RDX Cycling, RDX, you can see that little logo just below the power bar logo up on your screen at the moment. Run us through RDX very quickly, Cobus.
RDX, a newish estate agency in the northern suburbs, mostly focusing on Durbanville. Get in touch. Property in that area is hot right now. I hear a lot of interested parties from KZN and Gauteng are sneaking a peek at the moment. Sorry, naughty. But get in touch and thanks a lot, guys. You guys have been phenomenal supporters of cycling and the RDX cycling team for a long time. So it's really nice to have you on board as sponsors for this series as well.
And then, of course, Vermaak, very cool kit. We'll get a picture up on screen in just a second. All that amazing, the RDX cycling team. You'll see that kit coming up on your screen now in just a second. There we go. And I don't know if you can see, maybe Cobus, if you want to just run us through that. I think it's the same.
It's the same code, but just with a hashtag, bicyclegear.co.za. They are the local distributors for Vermaak. Vermaak's possibly some of the best kit around, used by the likes of Quickstep, amongst others. So if you want to check out bicyclegear.co.za, use the code hashtag RDX Cycling at checkout, and you will get a 10% discount on your entire order.
Cool. Then Cape Multisport, that final logo down at the bottom, and before we get to the main guys, Cobus representing there, the guy that is the maestro behind all the inner workings of live streaming. Thanks to Cobus and Cape Multisport. Of course, big thanks to Uwe Kuter. They have sponsored the main prize, if you want to call it that, in terms of rand value. Doing a superb job, Jaco and his amazing team. And Cobus, if you want to run through that very quickly, and then I'll just, because I think we're going to go into some super exciting racing after that.
Yes, I see the bunches stringing out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Jaco's been supporting us from the get-go. Back in the days when we didn't have our own slots and it was difficult to extract results, we used his API. He's just been a phenomenal supporter of the series and a phenomenal supporter of cycling in general as well. Uwe Kuter is a bespoke jewelry business located in Cape Town. They do all sorts of amazing stuff. Go check out their Facebook page. You will be gobsmacked by some of the chastity belts and other less exotic items that they have on there. Quite incredible what guys want for their wedding nights. But some of the stories Jaco can tell you as well. All confidential, of course. But
no names mentioned.
No, definitely no. Because these guys are quite wealthy, I assume. So we might just know the names. But 15,000 rand in jewelry for bespoke jewelry for our male winner, and 5,000 for our female winner as well. As we get into the last lap.
Yes,
Yep.
Guys, very exciting. Now the bunch is down to 28. So slowly dwindling. This is the sharp end of the race.
Yeah.
Sean, this is usually when we start bringing our names and suggested winners.
Yeah.
I've got two in mind. Granted, Gustavo Aquino doesn't do a flyer. So I've got two in mind. I'm going to put them out now. Howell Davies of Wahula Coal. He's got a proven sprint. He's an absolute monster and tactician. He knows how to move. He knows how to maneuver his avatar around a bunch. And obviously, Eddie Hull, he's won on this course before in previous races. He's got that sprint time to perfection. His positional play is also really, really good, and his spatial awareness. So those are my two picks today. But at the same time, I don't want to rule out Christian, because I mentioned before, out of the guys here, he's probably got the most dangerous kick. If he also times it to perfection, he can also get away. So let's say those are my three. I'm not gonna pick one. Those are the three I'm gonna put out.
We're coming up to the 30K mark. Only 6 more kilometers to go. Cobus, I'm going to put you on the spot now and ask for your name. I'm going to give my name right up front before we get into the action, because I know Aaron's going to be chewing on the bit to announce these guys coming across a major sprint finish. I'm going to go with Christian Janssen van Rensburg, the gentleman of the sport. He's got that kick. He has got a bit of a donkey kick behind him. We know he can do it, and I'd love to see that name back up on the leaderboard. So come on, Christian, don't let me down, bud. Cobus, your call from here.
Gustavo's going to do a flyer.
Wow,
Okay.
that's a left field.
Can we just end the stream right now? Thank you.
Jeez, you just killed it. You just killed the vibe, Cobus.
I'm leaving the building. Thank you. I'm switching off. Thank you. Support local riders.
Guys, let's see what happens on the reverse com climb. Let's see what happens on those slopes.
Yeah, but it's more fun to make the call before we're on the slope, because that's exactly where I expect the flyer to happen.
You think that's where the fly is going to happen? Okay.
Maybe it's a little far-fetched, and he's going to have a big blob chasing him from behind. So maybe it's not the best call.
You'd have to start it now, I'd say, just because of the safety numbers on the descent. But yeah, they're going to go into the sprint for the last time, and then the race essentially starts after the sprint. This is when the race starts. It's dwindled down quite a bit now. What are we on? 22 riders. So Rick Sorensen, Michael Potten, Oscar Klitter all got thrown out the rear end on that sort of incline leading into the S's. Perhaps they can get back on and restore contact, but a pretty decent selection here. We made the call of around 10 to 15 riders. It's 22. There's still a climb to go. There's still a sprint to go. It's going to get strung out. Maybe we're going to get that 15. Maybe we're going to get that sprint we wanted, guys.
We're on the sprint right now as we speak. There we go. They're going to go under that arch. And we'll see who picks up the sprint. I don't think they're worried about that at all.
Very, very limited watts per kilograms now. Now it's about conserving energy, racing smart, clearing as much lactate as you can. Because they're going to head up into the Italian villas. They're going to take a right onto the 360-degree bridge, and then they're pretty much there. Then it's going to come down to tactics.
Yeah, just tactics and timing, folks. Please don't go away. We're probably about 5 minutes away, less than 5 minutes. Here's the Italian villas, as Aaron just mentioned, on board with 20 odd riders here. The first in 9 races back to back that we've seen such a big bunch. I might leave this one to Aaron to bring home. I can bring the excitement, but I can't think as fast as Aaron. Unfortunately, my eyes are just not that good. So let's see who comes through.
Yeah, I would. If I were racing now, I would start making a move on these rollers. You can string it out quite a bit, getting into the climb, hammering on the power again quite early as well. Keeping that going through the statue section, and then absolutely smashing the bypass. If you can get 3 or 4 guys to go with you, you can cause a split.
Yeah.
Really put the power down on that descent, and there we go. Gustavo Aquino, David Bailey look like they're putting down some watts at the moment. And
I reckon very soon we're going to see Eddie Houle putting down some watts. 3Ks to go, folks.
This is essentially a 3K race. This is where the pain starts. The winner's going to come from this move. And there we go. There's the flyer.
What do you know? There's Gustavo's flyer.
And there's Cobus's prediction coming through thick and fast now.
We've got a 5-second gap.
And Gustavo could be using his mate Ariel Savori to sit up. If they did do it tactically, he could have moved to the front to create a little bit of a sticky draft. But as you can see, there are a couple of comments now being made by some of the guys. I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, Gustavo gone.
Corner, you moron. What?
Yeah, someone has called Gustavo out for being on Z-Power. It's quite a claim, but yeah.
Yeah, but we do have the little lightning bolt next to his name. We filter Z power riders are removed from our results.
So yeah,
This
this
is
is
the way
a,
we've
this is
set
a
it
big
up.
move. It's a big move at 6-7 seconds back. This is where the chase has to happen. It's now. This bunch is going to reduce, but if anyone is going to challenge Gustavo, it's going to happen now. The power has to come at this exact point. They're going to dig even deeper into the first statue over here. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, less than 2 kilometers to go now. About 1.8 Ks.
Look at those orange numbers. These guys mean business. Howell Davis lighting that up to 9 watts a kilogram. David Bailey, Christian Janssen van Rensburg. Here we go. Christian is not messing around. He's fired up the featherweight. He wants to hunt him down like a bloodhound. That's what's happening right now. It's hard to tell how far ahead Gustavo is. I can't see at the moment.
Because we've got so many lapped riders between us now. As soon as they catch these guys, we should be able to see again.
Darvel is in here. What a ride. What a ride by the man. Pushing really hard on this climb. This is the section the guys are going to have to give their all if they're going to bridge to Gustavo. This is the section right now.
Don't worry, guys. Whatever you see, that's up what the viewers are seeing. Okay.
Gustavo's got 6 seconds. And he's pushing more. 8 watts a kilogram. He's going into the orange on a descent. Splits up even more now because the guys are pushing this section here. But Christian is with the chasing pack. Eddie Hull, Howell Davis, Jaco Darvel, and Gustavo's mate is in here as well. Ariel Sivori from Wes Oral 17.
Well, only a couple of 100 meters now left to go.
4 seconds, 3 seconds. These guys have to push this hard. They've got the blob effect. This is where they need to move.
Yeah.
Gustavo is launching an 11 watt per kilogram attack right now. The guys need to start going now. That's the only way they're going to reel him in. They are 300
meters. Yeah, 200 meters, folks.
Eddie Hull's decided to go. Eddie Hull's decided he's timed his sprint. He's on Christian's wheel. He's got an aero power up. Here goes Eddie. Christian's putting down a massive amount of watts, 700, 800. Gustavo is in sight, 3 seconds ahead. Ariel Sivori is also in the mix here.
They're going to catch... Oh, my word, they didn't catch him.
So close.
No.
Davis. And that was 45 minutes, guys. Spot on.
Yeah, on the button, 45 minutes. Well done, Aaron. Called it as it is. Super technical. He knows his thing. Thanks, Aaron. Do appreciate your
live timing. It says Howell Davis won. Eddie Hull second and Gustavo third. I don't know how accurate that is.
No, that's off. Gustavo was definitely over the line first, from what we saw at least.
Can we see where Christian came in? Was that fourth?
No, a couple of guys ahead of him.
Yeah, it's updated. So it was Gustavo Aquino, Brett Boniface, Howell Davis, Eddie Hull, Ariel Sivori, who is Gustavo's teammate, and then I think Christian Janssen van Rensburg.
Okay, so Eddie, our quickest local rider in terms of the local competition, the Red Jersey competition. Christian second. Looks like Gustavo took the overall.
Yeah, that was a really well timed attack yet again. You called that one, Corvus. but almost reeled in on the line. It was
almost
100th of a second.
Definitely.
Brett Boniface to the line by, with Howell Davis coming 0.3 of a second later, with Eddie Hull crossing the line pretty much at the same time. And then Gustavo's teammate Ariel Sivori coming in, followed by Mourinho, Christian Janssen van Rensburg, David Bailey. Really good performance by Jaco Darvel, who I think rounded off the top 10.
Yep. Very good.
10th place to Jaco.
Yeah, well done to all the SA riders, the Masters SA Series.
I seem to
Great
have,
racing tonight, guys.
Yeah, fantastic. Sorry, guys, I seem to have lost the lady's feed, so I'm unable to tell you what's happened there. It runs a bit unstable, my second feed, unfortunately. We'll try and see if I can sort that out for the next series. Thanks a lot, guys. That was fun.
Yeah.
It's really, really fun. It's really good to get some of these other riders, or these prominent riders of prominence, if you want to call them, entering the race. It just shows you the value of the Masters SA Series and how it's gaining traction globally. Really impressive. And I think as we go on and as we develop this concept as a whole, it's going to become even more prestigious, and we're probably going to be attracting a lot of top 50 riders from around the world.
Yeah.
Well,
that's exciting stuff.
We got a former number one this evening, didn't we?
Yeah. And the more riders, the more top 50 riders that participate and enter, the better the race is from a ranking perspective. And then you start attracting more and more and more, and it just grows exponentially. And it could become one of those weekly races where you get the top 10 guaranteed entered every single week. And that's just going to make bigger and bigger and bigger, and obviously provide a better platform for the sponsors as well. So really great to
see. For sure. And that's what we want to see in the sport. So just very quickly, a massive thanks to Aaron Borrell, the guy that you see up on your screen there, all the way from England, taking time out every single Wednesday to come and join us. He is our race director, stroke technical, well, not race director, but he's the guy that knows everything about the Zwifting world. Always great to hear your voice, Aaron. Thank you very much, bud.
Yep, thanks for always inviting me, Cobus and Sean. It's good to be here. Really looking forward to next week's edition as well, where we can sort of dial in some of the guys who've been performing, ask them questions. Really, really good. I've enjoyed the series a lot. We've seen it develop from humble beginnings and just seeing the level of racing improve.
Yeah,
both from the men's and the women's. It's been phenomenal. Just really appreciate being part of this.
I think the commentary team's improved as well.
Yes, ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly, slowly
but
surely.
We might need to bring in some Spanish guys for Gustavo.
Definitely.
I'll put myself in a Spanish course between now and next week. It's not a problem.
Guys, I'm really looking forward to next week.
Yeah, I'm also looking next week, same time, guys. Stick around. Just a big thanks to Cobus Potgieter, the maestro behind the keyboard. It takes a lot to put on a stream like this. A big shout out has to go to Cobus and to everyone behind the scenes, David Garrett and the team that do all the points and getting the results and making sure that everything runs as you see it in front of your screen right now. So well done to you guys. Cobus, thanks very much for having me along.
And thank you to Sean Peters of Sean Peters Media. If you need a commentator for your virtual or real race, give him a shout. Check out his Facebook page.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Well, until next week, please be safe out on the roads. Look after yourselves. And we'll catch you next week, Wednesday. Same place, same time.
Fantastic. Thanks, everyone.